Oh, I have to remember to mute this or it's going to echo on us. Because I have YouTube up just to make sure we're okay.
Oh, okay.
Come on. No, you just have to be pretty. Oh, I have to remember to. Yeah. All right. There's nobody even here. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
We don't have anybody yet, but that's okay.
This is also for the Instagram people who will watch us later.
Yeah, that's true. So, but I guess we are waiting for 2 people to join us, Naomi and Aaliyah, and anybody who might want to actually watch us.
Yes.
But yeah, TBR Lowdown.
Yes.
I guess we have some housekeeping we need to do, right? So first, reminder that December's pick is the Poppy War, which I'm actually really excited about.
Me too.
Super excited about that one. And we just announced today the giveaway for a paperback copy of the Poppy War, which we're ending on the 1st, right? I said that? That's what I said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm technically not.
Oh, hold on. I have a message.
Abandoning you because I told you guys that I probably.
Okay. So Leah might not make it.
Okay, she has a very important brunch.
Guilt trip complete. So the problem is that you have not finished this book.
Right? This is also my first live show here. So first out of the 2 we've done.
And I have finished the book, but
I have thoughts. I can still talk about what I have read, and if you want to spoil it for me, that's okay.
Well, I think we need to just say that there's going to be spoilers because hello,
100%.
The idea is that you've read the book, and there's a couple people watching, so hopefully, if anybody wants to actually say hi.
We have people watching? I can't see that.
We have at least 2 people who are at least looking at it. I don't know if they're really watching us though.
We could be background noise.
They looked at us. They looked at us. But oh no, I don't want to do this. Go away. I clicked the wrong button. Too many things on my screen. I'm just trying to kill some time so that maybe Naomi can get on here so she doesn't jump in the middle.
The line for pancakes looked really
long.
For
pancakes was quite long.
We could always start with one question and get a little discussion going.
These questions, I will say, so the questions for Mexican Gothic were a lot more along the lines of what we were already discussing. So we answered a lot of things as we were going. These are thinking questions. For example.
Are you claiming it's a real person? Were you familiar with? I had no clue she was real.
I got a sense she might be maybe a quarter of the way through, but I think that's part of the book. That's part of the thing I like about the book is
I'm Googling her right now.
Oh, good, because I don't know who she is really. So a lot of queer history has been buried and subverted, and I liked that this book brought out a lot of that queer history and talked about it. I feel like people for years, whatever, it's that just never happened. And now, because everybody's more accepting than they have been previously, things are out in the open, it seems it's this new thing. And it's not a new thing. People have been doing this forever, and we just have been burying the truth in places. So it was nice to see that.
Young. She died young.
Yeah, I think somewhere, because I don't think you got to that point. At some point they do say that they give her a history, and I think she commits suicide, is that right?
Let me go to her. I'm on the Wikipedia page. Hold on. She died in Chicago in 2019-29. It doesn't say how she died. It just says she died.
Maybe I just made that part up.
You could have. But she was a openly bisexual as well as a vocal feminist. She was born in Canada. That's cool.
Who's Canadian? Where's Lacey?
Get Lacey in here. But no, I had absolutely no clue. Yeah. And I mean, along with the buried history, it was kind of interesting to see because when I think of like olden times, and olden times, I mean like the 19 and 18, more like the 1900s, and like America, I see people as being like, there were no gays didn't exist, gays, like that whole thing. And then when they're talking about this private school for all girls and they're just openly like courting each other and just dating openly, I was like, kind of like, that's so, I didn't know that was a thing. And that sounds so dumb.
It does, because but I think that's the fault of history, just kind of glossing over all of that. So, because you're so not used to seeing anything like that. So you start to internalize this idea that it just didn't happen. But then you think about it, you're like, of course it happened. It's not like something changed. Of course it happened. Of course people had feelings for all kinds of people. It's just, how did you navigate that?
Yeah. And I think it's also like when you're like with the like history we get taught and you're thinking of all these like prim proper like lady schools, you think they're getting trained to be like wives and stuff, and like that wasn't really like a big thing they discussed about like the schooling unless it happened later on in the book. But like I had never personally like thought of it like, because like if it was in like an all boys school, like I don't know, like that probably happened there too.
Oh, it's for sure happened.
For sure. But it's just stuff you don't like think about, and it's like sad.
It is really sad. And I think that's one of the things I really liked about the book, is that it brought all of that to the forefront and was like, hey, this has been here forever. Like, listen to our history, which, yes, like that history should exist and should be something that we know about. And not something that we try to hide, because it's not something to hide. It's not shameful.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if there was like a book where it was just like, there probably is a book where it's like the history of like schools like this, I'd like that. And I like how this is kind of like taking it like on a fiction-y kind of.
And I liked, what was I going to say? My brain does not work properly. I liked how, no, I didn't like, that's why my brain's not working, because that's not how I wanted to start that sentence. I didn't like how they kind of dismissed the feelings between the girls, like, oh, it's okay to pretend at like having feelings, and like you're learning how to be a wife, like you're learning how to like have a romantic relationship in this safe way that doesn't mean anything, right? Like they kind of like negate, like walk it back. And
I remember when they like mentioned that, I was like,
or maybe they just actually like each other. Oh, I think about it that way. Like maybe they actually want to be in a relationship. Maybe they love each other. Like it's not pretend. It made me think of like, in Cruel Intentions, when they made, have you seen Cruel Intentions, my child?
When did it come out? What is it?
Probably when you were a fetus.
Oh,
but like Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I know her. She was in the Scooby-Doo movie, right?
Yes. Well, there's this scene where like she's teaching this other girl how to kiss, and it's like that was like a thing that was sort of commonplace and okay. It's like girls teaching each other how to kiss by kissing each other, and that's what I was thinking about when they're going through this. Like, oh no, but it's not an exploration of your sexuality. It's just learning how to.
They're just best friends. They're like super close best friends.
It's not actually a thing.
That makes me think of like any historical mention where it's like two women living together. Like they were really close. They were like best friends, like super close companions. Oh my god! And then like no, they were gay.
It came out in 1999, so you were a fetus.
No, I wasn't even out of the womb yet.
Are you serious? I'm that old.
When in 1999?
If you're asking that, you probably weren't out for it. I don't know exactly when it debuted. You should watch it. It's a stellar movie. It has nothing to do with this book other than that one scene. Nothing to do with this book.
Do we want to do another Miss Question?
All right. Other half, and let's see if we. Oh yeah. So why do we think she was so controversial? Well, we know why she was controversial. why is she obscure today? Because we bury that stuff, right? Like, we're like, no.
Gal pals, I just cackled. I just saw Landis's comment.
Oh, hey, Landis!
They just popped up for me. That's literally what happens though. And every time I see it, there's just like the heteronormative professors who are like, they were just very close friends. No,
Yes. They were close friends
fucking gay
because they liked it. Like,
oh my god, that makes me think of the Poppy War. Did you read that with us?
read the Poppy War? No, we're reading the Poppy War next month.
Or not the Poppy War. Oh, the Prior of the Orange Tree. Fuck. Oh, am I allowed to swear?
I'm removing this thing because I don't know what that is. Okay, sorry.
Right, so I didn't quite finish, but I'm almost done. Girly,
how far are you? Emma didn't finish either, so we're gonna spoil everything for everyone.
That's okay. I'm okay. I'll finish it tomorrow because I work tomorrow. I think she's obscure today because I feel like history is just fucking, it's whitewashed heteronormative things.
I think there's like I think if
like 10 pages. Okay, she's farther ahead than I am. She's fine.
You're way closer to them, Landis. I think like if this was, to your point, Emma, about like all boys schools, if this was about an all boys school, I don't think there would be like as like sunshiny, rosy things around it.
Oh no, like, I feel like they get beat.
Like this is totally inappropriate and yada yada yada. But when it's two women, they're like, oh, they're just exploring how to be a good wife, or like they're just really good friends, or like there's some like soft, cuddly whitewashing that happens over it. Like,
and I feel like that's kind of like gone into today where it's like, it's more like, because I went to an all-girls high school for my freshman year of high school, and the most thing was like, oh my god, there's gonna be so many gay girls, like it's gonna be full of lesbians, and like it may have, but like
it doesn't matter though.
Why does it matter? It was also a Catholic school, so there was.
Oh, that's why it matters.
People were picky.
People were picky. I did not go to Catholic school, so
You're lucky. You're one of the lucky ones.
I wouldn't have done it. I would have cried the entire time. All right. So I don't know what else is these. I swear these questions are a lot less fun. They're like a lot more like cerebral, and I'm not cerebral.
I didn't have the physical book, so.
Okay, so I mostly listened to it because I mostly have had to listen to everything this month, everything else that's going on. But I did not notice the footnotes when I was reading it physically, as it didn't bother me. But then again, I also made it through Nevernight, and that's footnote heavy. So
I haven't read Nevernight yet because I'm lame. But I haven't noticed the footnotes in like the audiobook. Like there's sometimes I'm like, oh, that could be a footnote because it's like slightly different.
Yeah.
We just do in the chat for a while you talk, right? Like, am I doing the right? You're doing it right. You're doing it right.
You're doing so much right. You're awesome. You're amazing.
You're doing wonderful. Don't worry. I'm still learning how to do this. But as long you're amazing. I was like, who's that? I'm like, oh wait, that's you.
Me. Okay. These like weird things need to go away. Block user.
I feel bad. What if they're just like regular people and they're just
no, because they've come on my things before and they're just like random. I don't know what they are.
Again, I don't know this.
Yeah. And we're still stalling time until Naomi gets here. She's the real like party goer. Like she
Naomi is. I haven't. Oh my god! Yay! I'm not lame. Because
no, everybody needs to read Nevernight, but it's okay that somebody hasn't written. Yay! You figured out technology. We're so proud of you.
No, because I have it. Oh, where I put it. Hold on. Oh, it's on the.
I'll even give you a little feature.
I have it. It's right here. And like
everybody has to read Nevernight. I know there is.
Mine doesn't have footnotes.
Yes, it does. It's got to have footnotes. Oh, I think that you should get on. Let's get Landis in here. Landis, I'm going to send you a link. Hold on.
Because I could absolutely get on video to be. Oh my god, please.
Please. I need all the.
Oh, they don't have them in like. They're not like a lot. I'm dumb. Okay, I'm gonna put this
They're
away. This
just
is
really long, and so Landis, I'm sending you a link. If you go here, it's in your DMs. If you go there,
and use Google Chrome. I found that out right as I was trying to log in because I use Safari a lot. I use Safari as my main thing because I'm
I
weird.
know, Safari.
I always use Safari and I don't know why. Okay, give me a minute to look presentable. Thank you. I feel like Lacey, you missed
You
it.
always look presentable. You are loved, Lacey. You are so loved. You're the most loved Canadian. Did you know that the McLean lady was Canadian? She was born in Canada.
And she's real.
She's a real lady born in Canada. Do you want to come on as our official Canadian speaker?
No one gets to watch. Everybody is in the show.
Everyone's in the live show. It's featuring everyone.
We're doing well.
This is what happens when Naomi abandons us for waffles or pancakes.
Where even
Not
are
even
my
waffles.
DMs on here? It's on Instagram.
Instagram.
She probably knows it's Instagram. Maybe I don't know.
What's
Insta.
that?
We said that.
I know. I don't know. Sometimes there's a delay. I think the chat goes, I don't know. So there's a delay somewhere between things. Yeah, but if you just, Landis, if you just click on that when you're presentable, whatever that means for you, and then I can add you in. You come in my backstage. I think that's what they call it, backstage. It's so official. Anywho. No, I thought the illustrations were cute. I liked the illustrations. I like a good multimedia story.
Can you grab your book and show me what they look like?
Yeah. Hold on. I twisted myself in a weird position, so hold on.
But yes, because I've been here the whole time and just couldn't comment. But dear God, no, don't put me on video. We won't. Don't worry, Lacey.
Don't worry, I'm just joking, Lacey.
You're safe.
I know that you would hate to be on video, so I figured I would. So, like, there's which way am I going?
Oh, see, I feel like I would have liked it so much better.
Yeah, the book itself is beautiful in like every way, and then even like the chapter headings have.
Oh, that's so pretty. Well, I should have made Andrew buy me that. I saw it and I almost did, but I was like, I haven't finished yet. I don't know if I really like it, but oh my God, I'm dumb.
And then when everybody, if Aaliyah ever gets on, we need to discuss the name Harper. But
oh, don't get me started. Oh my God, that's so...
It's good. It's so good.
See, I have some words about the name Harper.
I like the name Harper.
Oh yeah, it's a fine name. It's okay.
I'm stuck with one of my characters in my books named Harper Lee because I can't figure out a last name for her yet. So she's just Harper Lee because that's all my brain will do is connect Lee to that name. I had a whole discussion with Gabby about it. She's like, just leave it. You'll fix it later.
I'm trying to think. Harper, have you ever seen? No, I don't know if you would have watched Disney Channel, but Wizards of Waverly Place, there was a character named Harper. What you doing, Mom?
Lacey, don't tempt me to.
I am.
All right. In the work of metafiction, how many layers of this story? That means that there's a story within a story within a story.
Oh. I'm not a bookstagrammer anymore, guys. I am a failure.
Well, meta just, like when people are like, that's so meta. It's like,
I've never heard that in my life.
When something is like an inception of itself, it just keeps going.
I don't think just say Inception. I get that one because of the movie.
I don't know.
I've never seen the movie.
Never seen Inception. This chat has devolved. We need Landis to get here. This chat has devolved into just talking about Inception.
It's okay. It's fine. I was about to look at something. I can't remember.
Lacey, did you hear that Emma wasn't even born for Cruel Intentions? And
Lacey's only 7 years older than me.
Yeah, but Lacey watched it last weekend.
Oh. Oops. I missed that video of hers too, I guess.
Apparently, Emma don't listen to your videos either.
I listen to them. It's just sometimes I skip because there's a lot.
It's true. Anyway, so it's a work of metafiction. How many layers of storytelling did you notice throughout the novel? Who do you think? I don't care about the first part of this question. Who do you think the narrator is?
If I had to guess now, I kind of want to say it's Flo.
I don't know. It doesn't. They don't tell you.
Oh, then you don't find out. I
No.
still can't find my DMs. Can you? It is on Insta. It is on Insta. Landis. We got it. So if you can't find, if they don't tell you, I feel like it could be Flo because she would know about like Charles and Clara. Lacey.
One day we're actually going to be good at these, or maybe we should never get good at these. Maybe that's our niche.
This is fun. This is fun.
Just cluster fucks of book discussions that only work sometimes.
Professionalism who? We're professional
adjacent.
What did I? Yeah,
professional adjacent.
I was gonna say I did not watch Cruel Intentions last weekend. Are you on crack?
Somebody watched Cruel Intentions. Was it not you?
Probably wasn't it like Naomi or somebody.
One of my real life friends.
Where are your real life friends?
I know, but like people I see in person.
Ugh.
In person friends. You're not going to ruin my video of it. Landis is pulling a U and like running around her room trying to find a spot where nobody can see her. Shit behind her.
I mean, we have my really bad like dry erase calendar where I was marking like the days of the election. I got to day 4 and I gave up.
Aaliyah, Lacey, you need to watch Cruel Intentions then. You've seen it at least, right? For the narrator, I really wanted the narrator to be like an unreliable narrator. I wanted there to be, because it just kind of ends with no real resolution for me. Like it feels like there's no point to the story. I know there's a point to it, but it's like, you know how you want something, even if it doesn't end well, you want it to end in some way that makes the story seem like there was a point.
See, for me, what I want in an ending is like what I personally want. Like, I don't care if it makes a point. I don't care if it does anything. I just want it to end how I want it to end.
I think I just didn't like devices not connected. Naomi's here.
Naomi!
Hello.
She got pancakes, and Landis is going to join us.
Landis is going to be our lesbian perspective.
She's going to help us navigate this.
Oh my God, it expanded. You can see my laundry. Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you.
I may have to do that again when Landis gets on because I don't know if we're all going to fit in this little screen.
We'll try. My headphones. Are they on?
Yes.
I mean, I can hear you.
I can hear you. You may not. Did you watch Cruel Intentions last weekend?
No.
Okay.
I think it was my okay. Not you guys, and I just thought it was Lacey because I just assumed it was Lacey.
I've seen it, yes, but not recently. Because Alyssa tied it to something in the book and was like, yeah, Lacey watched it last weekend.
Oh.
So you know how like in the book they sort of wash over the girl on girl relationships as like some cute way of like learning how to like fall in love and all this stuff. So you just kept reminding me of the kissing scene in Cruel Intentions. Like, oh, it's just girls just kiss each other to figure out how to kiss. It's not because they like each other. It's like,
exactly.
And then I realized that she wasn't even born for Cruel Intentions and didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
It's a problem.
It's a
classic.
Well, she said Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm like, yeah, she was in the Scooby-Doo movie, right? That was my connection.
Okay. Or she's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Landis is here.
Woo!
Hi, I had to.
Welcome to the live chat.
I had to turn my table around because I'm quarantining at my mother's house, and I was in my nephew's playroom, and I just needed to turn my laptop and move my chair.
It's okay.
Well, We'll just leave it at that.
So I know you have 10 pages left.
Yes, I have I'm so close.
Your thoughts.
What do you have a paperback version?
I won this from Goodreads a month ago and still haven't finished it. But I've only got 10 pages plus acknowledgments left, and maybe less than that because I was listening to the audiobook and then I fell asleep and it said I was done. So I don't really know how. It was 2 a.m. last night. I was trying to finish in time to do this with you guys.
Wow. Girl, you're doing better than I am.
I can't hear you, Naomi. I can just see
I can't
you.
either.
Wow.
Can you hear me now? Am
Yeah.
good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Yes.
I just saw a wow. I didn't hear a wow.
It was not
I
an audible
apologize
wow.
in advance for any. There's a bird. There are dogs. There's a 3-year-old. I'll mute if I hear any of that.
Oh,
That's fine. As
all
long as there's
natural
no
sound
copyright
effects.
music, we're good.
It's like
No
a
copyright
zoo.
music.
Let me see how far I remember getting in this chapter. Because maybe I did finish and it just felt like it wasn't the end.
I mean, there's a big page that says end or fin. And
I told you I was listening to the audiobook and fell asleep.
So
Yeah.
it could have been.
I listened to the audiobook too and read along, but see, here's the thing. The last half of this book, I was working while listening to the audiobook, and something blew up at work, and then I forgot I was listening to the book. And so I had every intention to go back and just re-listen to the second half, but then Thanksgiving. So I'm going to see how much the old noggin remembers on the second half.
So I'm the only one who's technically fully finished this book and was paying attention.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I plead the fifth.
That's okay. We'll just sort of backtrack. Emma and I have been waffling for 15 minutes. Or half an hour.
Did you know Mary McLean was real, Naomi?
No.
She's real and Canadian.
What?
Yes, we
She's
looked her
real.
up.
She's real. She was a big open bisexual author in the early 1900s, and she was a really vocal feminist. I was first of all, no clue this woman was real. I never I didn't know you could do that.
I can do all kinds of things. She is a real lady.
What a picture, too.
Well.
Oh, I did actually know that because I'm using it as my bookmark right now. But the arc that I won.
It talks about it.
The arc that I won came with this really cool fake newsletter.
Oh my God.
Set up a newspaper, and then the back had a letter from Emily Danforth.
That's really cool.
But the front was this fake Providence Daily that I think is a real news article. And then the back,
now here's
Emily
the thing.
Danforth
I'm salty about that, Landis.
why she wanted to write
salty
it.
about that.
I'm salty about that because here's the thing. They could have easily done some kind of a
insert
fold out in the book, and that would have been so cool.
Yeah.
What was it in the acknowledgments?
I don't ever read the acknowledgments.
I always do, but I didn't get far enough. So
I am a horrible person, and I never.
Lacey, did you hear that? I don't read acknowledgments. She reads them, and she wants to be acknowledged as a reader every time.
I'm not that picky.
I mean, if it isn't in the acknowledgments, I still want the newsletter because that's cool.
Yeah,
It is
they've
That would have been a really cool little pull out in the book.
instead of
I guess
a
I'm
map,
just
they do,
special.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. This was totally a giveaway prize. I didn't even
I
get
love
singled out to
that.
get this.
So
But still.
yeah.
I just want them to send me the UK edition arc all the way from the UK. Have y'all seen the UK cover for this?
No.
The cover's cute.
Bright yellow and hot pink with a giant yellow jacket on it.
It's really
It's so cool. It is. I'm obsessed with it. And so I think I'm just not going to get a hardback of this. I'm just going to wait.
Lacey's letting us know that she fully read this book and paid attention. I feel slighted.
I could probably finish this book right now.
Oh yeah.
So Naomi, why don't you tell us how you
Oh, I
felt?
don't like that.
Oh, I like it.
I think
I don't like that cover.
I prefer
I'm
but I
gonna
don't hate it.
Old typography. Yellow's my favorite color, and I love bold typography, like as a graphic designer. And
So it was made for Landis.
It's Landis' cover. So Naomi, why don't you tell us how you feel about the book?
Okay.
And Landis will finish reading, and then we'll.
I think I read 3 pages.
Overall, I really enjoyed reading this book. I liked the vibe. I actually enjoyed the Hollywood part of the story as well. I didn't feel like it felt cheesy or it took me out of the, school portion with the whole Yellow Jacket craziness. I like how it was kind of woven in together. I love that part. I love the girl-on-girl relationships. I think that the ending threw me off though. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but I was like, well, that's the way to go.
It felt like it ended. That's what bothered me. I wanted something. I didn't need like a tidy ending. I just needed like a period at the end of the. I guess that is a tidy ending, right? But I guess I needed like a point, and I feel like either I missed the point, or there wasn't a nice, neat, tidy one for me to grab on. Like something felt unsatisfying, or maybe that is the point, is that the story is continuing.
I mean, perhaps.
I've read a bunch of reviews, and I think it was either the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times reviewer was like super confused in the same way I was. Like, got to the end and was like, okay, but like,
I felt like,
what's happening?
Because I said to myself, I didn't need this ending. I didn't want that ending. I don't know what I wanted exactly, but I didn't want or need that. I don't know. It was strange. I'm definitely going to still reread the last half of the book, though, to see if I feel differently, to see if I catch something that I missed the first time, but just off the first go, I was like, I don't think I needed that, and that's not really what I wanted. But I gave this 4 stars because I really, really enjoyed this book overall, and I think it was a great story.
Atmospherically, I think it was really good. I think the spooky, gothic, like creepy wasp thing was really good.
Yeah.
I thought the use of the wasp when you're talking about just like wasps, like white rich people, was like a really nice little.
Yeah.
The first time I was introduced to that term was a few months ago when I read "Where'd You Go, Bernadette?"
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I think they used that term in there because the mom, the Bernadette, uses it to describe the other parents at the school, and I thought that was so weird. But I'm like, but that makes sense. And so every time I hear wasp referring to these rich white ladies, I'm like,
I keep forgetting that I'm old, so I've heard these things for a long time.
I went to a wasp school, and our actual mascot was the Hornets, so it made complete and total sense.
Wow.
See, mine was a Viking, but it couldn't be called a Viking because that's pagan, so it was a venture.
Damn Catholic.
Wow. Okay.
Now canceled for me.
I do have to say I'm very unsettled by all of the Yellow Jackets. Like whatever she wanted to do, she took the damn angry bees and ran with it. And it worked really well because the Yellow Jackets in the sink when at Audrey's house, I was like, I don't like it. I know they said they weren't planted there, but just because I hate bugs. I hate bugs so much, and it's less like spider bugs. It's more like beetles or things with shells and wings that are mobile. It's so gross, and it freaked me out every time, and it will continue to freak me out as I finish it.
That was some good creep factor. That was some good creep factor for sure. I enjoyed that.
Yellow Jackets and mushrooms.
Did you see Lacey giving you some sass over here, Naomi?
What was that?
Lacey giving you some sass.
You know what, Lacey? Okay, so yes, there are beautiful illustrations in this book, which I really appreciate. I also would have appreciated that newsletter
with the audiobook.
Yeah, I know.
I picked this up last night and I forgot that there had been illustrations the whole way through, and I was like,
you went beauty.
I muted myself. I should have read along instead of just the audiobook.
That's what I was kind of saying. Like when Andrew took me book shopping on Friday, I saw it and I should have made him get me it, but then I was lame and I didn't because I really wish I had read along with it. But it's okay. I'll get it later. I'll look at the pretty pictures later.
The thing that
That's
creeped me
gorgeous.
out about the bees was when she reminded me that bees can get in your walls, and I'm now terrified of that because like I knew it could happen, and like I've seen
Right.
pictures of the walls are actually like breathing because there's just so many bees behind it, and it just creeped me the hell out.
Well, that's not scary at all.
See, that's interesting
Wow,
because
yeah.
when we read Mexican Gothic, like the mushrooms were like the walls and in the walls and the walls were all
Right.
creepy. We did a good pick back to back because they're kind of like
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure, right?
Yeah.
Creepy things in walls were doing well.
I liked it. Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna read the second half again just because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Did you prefer?
Okay, I had more pages left than I thought. Is the ending that they just end up in this happy poly triad together?
Yes, basically.
That's everything I've ever wanted in a book.
See?
They finally did it. I'm not so much like as a concept, but just for someone to finally not be a coward and like not make someone pick in a love triangle, like good for fucking her.
Yeah, they just kind of exist in like their little happy relation, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So does that mean Merritt becomes less of a bitch because I don't like Merritt?
How far are you that you don't like Merritt? Because I think Merritt's intentionally unlikable, but she grew on me.
Because okay, so where I'm at is right when I think she's being convinced to go to the set or go to Berkant's. Because at first she's like, no, I'm not fucking going. Like, they're not doing my movie. I want Harper and is it Audrey or Aubrey?
Audrey.
I knew that. But I like them. The bees in the sink fucked me up for like, me too, Lacey. That was the creepiest part for me.
Lacey, between the bees and the deer from Imaginary Friend, I like can't go outside. This year has been animals being evil and like.
Like, did you bring up like their like polyamorous relationship? Cassie Clare also did like a polyamorous
with lesbians though.
No, two
no,
boys.
Okay, I don't care.
Okay, then never mind.
I don't think we really know each other yet, but just know 98% of the books that I actually end up reading are gay, and like 95% of those are sapphic.
She's got.
So I've never seen this happen with like the sapphics before, so I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I think I wanted. Maybe I'm just missing it because it's not like my own voice. So I'm interested in what you think, Landis. I felt like I was missing like a point to the story or like a statement. And maybe the statement is that, you know, this is a story that has to be told because it hasn't been being told and it's continuing on. And maybe I'm looking for an ending that's not going to exist because it's open-ended, but it made me like a little unsettled that it just kind of ends in this happy little triad. And that
I would guess that was on purpose. I mean, the whole novel was this long, rambling, character-driven, more than plot-driven story that just kind of was very self-indulgent and atmospheric. And I don't think I ever expected there to be like a wrap it all up ending. And I think if there was something like that, it would cheapen the book as a whole because this book is a little bit of an edgelord book. I'm not gonna lie. I did really enjoy it, but like it's a little edgelordy. And I think that if it all wrapped up, then that would make it less. I don't have a word, but it would make it less something.
Yeah, I can see that.
What did you think about the timelines? Was there a timeline you preferred? Because I really like the past timeline, especially like the past when they went back and explained the people who actually started this whole thing with the land.
Oh, right.
The backstory. But I didn't
Libby and Alex
cared so much about the Hollywood story in comparison. It was just kind of like, take me back to these original people. I really like their story, their whatever.
I flip-flopped on which I had more fun with. Like there were times when I would get so mad because I would get so into one of the timelines and they would do a couple chapters in a row of it and then it would switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be like, no, I want to go back. But it wasn't always like wanting to go back to the past. It was sometimes wanting to go back to the present. I thought she did the pacing between them really well because it made you want to keep reading to get back to them.
Where you were.
Because it's not even like people talk about chapter cliffhangers. Well, this would be like, you can't just start the next chapter. There might be 2 more chapters before you get back to your cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And it was like,
That's true.
I think I really liked like the Hollywood part where it was like present day. I really liked Harper. I hated her name, but I really liked Harper as a
I
character.
like Harper too. Yeah.
Like
I
she
like
was
them
probably
all.
like, she was just like happy and chill and like didn't care. And she was like, because I feel like when we get like Hollywood stories, it's all like the tortured Hollywood starlet or like that kind of stuff. I don't know. But like she was just like chill, fun, and it weirded me out that she was like similar in age, even though she was real. All right, Lacey, we get it.
Well, some people haven't even finished, and I don't read the acknowledgments, so we didn't get there. But they tell you in the story she's real, I thought. Like, or maybe, like, doesn't the narrator say she's real at some point?
She probably did.
Okay, but
yeah,
I
but like, I would trust the narrator because the narrator says everything is real.
That's true.
I don't trust the narrator because she could be like, they're real, but like, are they real for you or are they real for me? Like, where are they real?
Right.
What is real?
So, and it was fun to find out in here because then I had a whole crisis because I was like, oh my god, she actually existed. But
and I liked Merritt. I know that she was unlikable, but like I understood why she's unlikable. She's got like, she has horrible things that were happening in her past, and she just doesn't want people to get in there and bother her.
Is she the one with the dead dad?
I mean, yes.
Yeah, she's the one who found her, and she finds her dad.
Yeah. Mood.
Who did y'all relate with the most? Like, which character did you? Because mine was Merritt. I didn't like her, but I also like identified with her. I was like, I used to be like that. I was that asshole.
I think Audrey was kind of like, yeah, that one's me right there.
I think it's interesting we haven't chosen anybody, and Naomi hasn't chosen anybody yet, so maybe she'll do it from the past timelines. I like
which character was like your favorite,
or what you related to.
Yeah.
Who spoke to you?
I don't really feel like I related to any of them. I like anything that talks about California because that's where I was raised. So that's just a comfort zone for me. But I don't feel like I related to anybody in this book. And that was fine. I didn't really need to.
Yeah. No, you don't need to.
See, I really liked Audrey because she was just kind of like awkward and she knew she's like, I'm not that great at like acting. Like I know that and I know it's not gonna go well. But her mom was like super good at stuff. And I'm like, because like I always feel like I'm not like great, like super great at like one thing. It's just like I'm very meh at a lot of things. So I'm not wrong. I haven't finished this book. I'm very mad at being a book club runner. So I kind of related to her and I thought she was cool. I felt bad for her. I just wanted her to succeed. And when Merritt picked on her, it made me mad.
I must say there's no one character that I did not like. I kind of liked them all.
They did. They all ended up together, right?
Yeah.
They kind of all end up together. I think Merritt and Audrey are like the main. I think Merritt and Audrey warm to each other, and I think they really have a relationship. And Harper's kind of on the outside, but I don't think she's totally on the outside. I think that it's like, I think there's some fluidity there. It didn't feel very.
And I like that. I like that.
She wasn't committed 100%.
It felt like they both had found a relationship outside of Harper and had learned to enjoy each other. But Harper, it didn't seem like there wasn't a chance for Harper to come back in.
Interesting. Okay.
They are
Everyone is
relatable in certain ways. I think that Merritt was the most developed of the three to me, and maybe that's because I related better to her. So she felt more real from the get-go and more solid of a character. Like, I don't know, I can't forget that Audrey exists, and like I know she's there, but
that's funny.
She just
I've seen other like lesbians or sapphic people talk about, I can't remember in depth, but they didn't love the way that they handled Harper. Like they were like, there had to be the one like lesbian, and I didn't like the way they treated her. And so when I was reading it, I was looking for that. And it didn't particularly bother me because it felt realistic. Like in this day and age, like celebrities that are like young celebrities also on social media being influencers. Like that's really how they are.
Yeah.
That's like normal.
Yeah.
The one thing that also gave me the creeps that wasn't supposed to be creepy because it was normal at the time was when Libby and the old guy Harold had their whole thing, and Madame Verrett and the whole like witchcrafty
Sam.
Oh.
Yeah, their situation where he's like, you can marry me and you get this land, and like I'm gay, you're gay, let's get married. When there's like age gap marriages, I don't care what the reason is if it's an old man and like a really young girl, I feel grossed out.
But that was actually stuff that did happen. I mean,
I know,
called a lavender marriage. When two gay people married each other, it was so that neither of them were suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
I saw a whole article about that, about like old Hollywood couples who were like, I think the one that like stood out to me the most was Judy Garland and Vincent Minnelli, because I remember that.
But that's what we were talking about in the beginning, Emma. Like, there's a lot of history where it's been so sort of just brushed over. Like it never, like there were never any lesbians before 1960, and like, well, of course there were. Like, you're just hiding everything. So I like that she kept pointing out moments in history and people and sort of places in history where we've sort of washed it or swept it under the rug and bring it back out so that people have to kind of look at it, and not in a like editorial or in your face kind of way.
Yeah. I liked how she like tied Harold Burkhantz to like Carnegie and Astor and like big names from the time.
Yeah.
Because that kind of gave him more like, or like he did this first. Like it gave him kind of like that like fancy name, even though we had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought the creepy thing with the dolls, the Russian dolls, were so creepy. I don't like the doll stuff was creepy. Yeah, super creepy.
I never quite figured that out.
So
like,
sounds like
I've read to that point.
Each of them, because finally, when they get to the daughter has a doll, and so Libby's like burying all the dolls. I think each and every one of them had a doll, and they all somehow represent how they die.
Ooh.
Okay, I missed that.
I remember the scene with the lady.
There's a lot of stuff in this book.
I remember the scene at the fair, but then I couldn't connect it to like Ava's doll when she was burying them at the beach, because then the tiniest doll was Ava, I think.
Yeah, I think the tiniest doll was Ava.
Those dolls are creepy anyway, but like
dolls are always creepy regardless.
Oh, I need to find that video again.
Mother.
I need to find that video of my.
Alyssa's mother has like a cave room full of dolls.
We're not revisiting that. We're not
it's
revisiting
why I
that.
have mental issues.
No. Let's just let that one let it rest.
I'll send it to you at an opportune moment.
I would also like to say that I'm very happy that this is a standalone and not a series. I just want to put that out there. This doesn't need to go any further. This is perfect the way it was. So I'm happy about the one and done factor.
So what? Oh, I don't know. I'm looking at our questions from the. I don't like the questions from the thing, the reading group.
What's another one? Pop it in there.
I'll just randomly pick one. How do past and present timelines in the novel echo each other? Which instances or events or circumstances mirror each other? Did you notice?
I think the most obvious one is when they're about to get it on in the orchard.
Oh yeah.
Where they were like, did Flo and Clara do this? And then they're laying there. I did not see the like, and now we're going to start all three kissing each other part coming, but it came.
I kind of saw that coming. They kept like.
I don't think I've gotten there yet, but that is interesting.
But I was just like, oh no, they're going to record it. They're going to record it the whole time. Like, don't do it. And then I guess they like didn't use it or something. But
yeah. I kind of don't like that they did a Blair Witch thing. Just because Blair Witch is so now cheesy.
Very much.
See, I've never seen Blair Witch, so I didn't know.
I saw Blair Witch and then I went camping the next day.
I actually haven't seen it either, but I know enough about what it's about. I just don't do scary movies.
Me either.
I'm
not
baby.
really scary. It's just
not.
a big old cheese fest.
Really?
It's not scary.
But see, even cheesy scary can freak me out.
Yeah,
like I'm that big of a weenie.
I'm that
Like,
big of a weenie.
Well, when did it come out?
You probably before you were born.
Okay.
If you weren't here for Cruel Intentions.
Right.
I was alive when Cruel Intentions comes out, but I can't remember if I've seen it or not.
Okay. Everybody has a homework assignment and they have to go watch.
Is it on a streaming service?
Probably.
I didn't read this book, but I agree with everything Lacey says. Thank you, Stephanie. Hey,
It was released on July, because you asked me when. You'll ask me when, Emma, I know. July 30th, 1999 at Sundance Film.
Oh, that's like 4 months before. No, wait.
You were almost alive.
Yeah, 4 months.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
not the
almost
baby
alive.
for once.
No, I am big baby.
I guess I got to adjust to the fact that I'm like closer to 30 than I am 20 now, and so I'm probably not going to be the baby very much anymore.
Yeah,
I'm 40.
I'm 21 tomorrow. That's
Oh, well, happy early birthday.
thanks.
I have a question about fame.
Mary McLean grew up in the world. It was hard for her fame, and her fame didn't fix it. Audrey says, do you agree? This can provide or not provide for the characters in this novel. Okay, so like, I feel like with Mary McLean and her being like famous probably didn't help her just because of like the surrounding time. Like, because since she was like an out bisexual woman who was a radical feminist in the early 1900s, like even with fame probably was more dangerous than helpful. But I think now in the present day, like Harper is famous and she can provide for her family who lives in Montana, so she can make sure like her mom has everything, her brother has everything, and like take care, because it wasn't her mom the recovering alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she can like I feel like it switched where the fame for out women went from dangerous to like almost helpful, but it still has like that element of danger because there's still like assholes who are homophobic.
I have a different take on fame in general. I just think fame is always potentially dangerous no matter what, because you don't know how it's going to affect you as a person. You don't know how you're going to react to the fame. And so it's always like this like fine line of, will you be the same as you were before? Will you become something different in the worst way? Like you just don't know. It's always riddled with questions.
I think that regardless of what your lifestyle's like or anything, we all have secrets we need to keep just to maintain our own sanity and or just mental health or whatever, whether they're big or small. And when you have all these eyes watching you, that can mess with your mind. Like some things don't need to be broadcast. Some things don't need to be known. Some people don't need to be like, I see things about, like YouTubers getting mad because people come out and bother them and they're like, please don't come up to me while I'm eating. Like, I'll see you later, or, talk to me later, but not like while I'm eating, whatever it is. And then other people responding like, people are either like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and then there's people that are like, no, your life is the people's now, so it doesn't matter. And I think it still matters. Like, everybody needs a piece of them that's just theirs, and fame can destroy that. And then it can.
I actually watched a really cool YouTube video. I think the YouTuber is Sarah Zed, but it was on like parasocial relationships between like content creators and fans, like really massive ones, and how like by virtue of, and I think this is relevant because it's what Harper does. Like every time she meets someone, she's like, yeah, I love you too. So like part of what they do to maintain their brand and their fame and stuff is like make the people believe like there's an actual relationship there. And people feel a lot closer to the creators than they actually are. And it's hard for like fans to understand like the boundaries because like they've been lulled into like YouTubers who say, hey friends, hey family, like things like that. And so I think it was really interesting because like they cultivate it, but then at the same time, like you have to remember at the end of the day, like you don't really know this person as well as you think you do. And you need to like have boundaries. Like when the fans took the boat.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
But like, you know, like, and then people assume they know stuff about you because you share like this sliver of your life, but then there's all the other things around it. And so when there's something that doesn't fall in the sliver, you know, fans can get angry or whatever, they get emotional reaction to it. And no, chasing somebody and like through gates and like doing all this crazy stuff it's insane. Nobody's made to handle that, I don't think.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, just remember like fans, I mean, they're fanatical groups of people, right? Who are just, everything's at the extreme for them.
Mm-hmm.
Overly excited, you know, obsessively wanting to know more about whoever the figure is. So there's always a fanatical behavior behind what they're doing. It's almost like there's no real rationale with it. You can't be fanatical and rational.
No, you can't, because you're just taken over by whatever it was.
Exactly.
It's getting you hyped up.
That part makes me think of like back in my early teen years, a YouTuber said I was obsessed with. They were called Dan and Phil. Don't know if anybody else knows them.
Oh, I remember those people.
I have a picture of me and my friends. We bought tickets to go see them live in downtown Detroit, and I am there with whiskers drawn on my face in marker because that was their thing. And so when you get crazy fanatical, when you talk about like the fanatical stuff, I'm like, oh, I did that. I was there. And like I had every merch. I got my dad involved. He bought like a lion hat. Like I spread it. And so like I wasn't super crazy. I wasn't one of the ones who wrote the fan fiction, but there were those who like even took it a step further. Not saying fan fiction is bad, but like it can get obsessive, and especially like when Harper posts like all the time. Like she talked about, I remember a lot earlier in the book, she talked about like posting every day, posting, interacting, tweeting stuff, her going like viral on Twitter, and just being like not obsessed with it, just being so into it can also be like really dangerous too. Because then if you, Harper, I don't think has this problem, but like if you're one of the people who can get so wrapped up into it, you start tying yourself to what people say about you on the internet, and it can just go down a bad spiral.
Well, it's a thing of them realizing that you have to feed the beast. Social media is a beast that needs to be fed constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when people start realizing that, I think maybe from our eyes, it looks like they're obsessed with it, but I think it's just them realizing like, I'm in this thing now and this beast is hungry all the time.
Because if you're not there, you're irrelevant and somebody else takes your spot. And if that's your livelihood, then
exactly,
like what else are you going to do?
Right. I mean, like these young people have different goals now. It's like they want to be the YouTube star. They want to be the Instagram star. Like they're looking to do these things full time. So feeding the beast is like, you must feed the beast or else you won't be able to sustain.
I had this conversation with Jesus a while back, and trying to think about like what these people do when they sort of age out of everything. And I think he was taking the side of like, oh, they don't have anything. And I'm like, actually, they have a lot of really great marketable skills. if you really think about it, like you until you're big enough that somebody's doing everything for you, like you're a marketer, you're an editor, you're a promoter, you're like, you could do social media. Like there's so many things that these kids are actually learning and can do that a lot of, older society is sort of not recognizing and probably won't recognize unless you get the right job or the right person hiring you, or they probably don't even want to do that. But like, what do you do when YouTube stops working? So actually a lot of marketable skills there.
It is. And if they're smart, then they'll have been putting back money the whole time where they don't have to be a YouTuber forever if they don't want to.
Right.
Because they make the money they make. It's just like on par with like what NFL football stars, I think, make, like for the biggest people almost. They end up making that kind of money in a year, at least half of it. And it's like, put your money back so that you have it one day.
I mean, there's myself, I'm in PJ pants.
Amount of money. And they do that through multiple revenue streams and also just being a general horrible person. But people like watching horrible people.
And like as an example,
Emma, come back to us, Emma.
Oh no, did she not get it plugged in time?
I don't know. Emma, maybe she'll come back to us. We'll see. She'll probably be really mad I just made her big. Oh, maybe she's coming.
Something's happening.
I do need to get my charger too in a second. But no, I there's a lot of money that can be made and there's a lot of money that can be lost. Like, especially if you're making lots of money and you're not planning for that future and you age out of that.
For sure.
Then, you're used to living a certain lifestyle, and then how do you fund it? And then how do you do things?
Well, then the other thing is, like, if you plan well, perhaps you won't age out. If you understand that, you're growing, what you like is going to change, your audience is going to change. And if you plan properly, you can probably do a nice shift into your next level of adulthood and carry that audience with you and gain a newer audience.
Yeah. Emma's coming back. Also, Lacey here. I think the biggest thing is that Merritt's story was the one who was supposed to be told, but the people, especially men in power, shaped it to serve and reflect them, which is very true. And Emma is still loading. Poor Emma. Emma, see, this is Emma. Lacey, this is why you're the smart one. You have the good responses. Emma, are you there? Like, I can see you, but you froze again.
She's sort of moving.
Hello? What happened? Did they stop your internet?
died.
Your laptop died?
I tried to save it as fast as I could and it didn't work.
What thought happened? Hold on. While you're doing that, I'm going to get my charger.
I guess I'll charge mine too.
Okay, I just finished it and I love the ending, or at least the last few sentences. Oh, Alyssa's gone.
I'm here. I'm just getting my charger. So,
like just the last 3 sentences where they each do like a little quote. That was satisfactory.
So, okay, so you said you're the most recent to finish. Did you think that the triad's a no-go or a possible?
The triad?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible. I think they leave it intentionally open-ended, but I actually kind of like that Audrey and Merritt kept in touch while Harper, maybe that's what people meant when they said they didn't like the thing with Harper. I don't know. I'm going to have to dig. But like most of y'all know that I really love enemies to lovers stuff. And this was the Merritt Audrey thing was a little hate to love.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I was actually really concerned. Let me tell y'all the thing that stressed me out the most in this book, even more than all the horror, the other things. It was that I saw Audrey getting closer with Merritt and Harper, and I was like, they're gonna find out that like she's going behind their back, and they're gonna like hate her, and they're gonna like that gave me social anxiety. because I was like, what's going to happen when they find out? Because she was uncomfortable. It made me, I had like secondhand embarrassment and like cringe and like, oh no, oh no. And then they all ended up knowing. And I was like, oh, that's how she like handled it in the book to where they wouldn't.
Oh, I think
because that's what kept stressing me out is I was like, I don't want them to hate each other. I like them as like friends and stuff.
Yeah. I do like that they didn't have to choose really. Like they kind of all settled itself out and Harper's not totally. I only have good responses when I take a break from being snarky. Sorry, Lacey. Never stop being snarky. But I like that. Like, okay, fine. It's not like perfect, and you know, that's not like this perfectly happy ending, but it's also not imperfectly. Like, I don't know, I just liked it. Like, I liked that they all could have a chance, and that nobody had to really be left out completely, and like there was a nice sort of natural settling of that freeway into something.
Yeah.
Shall I read the last 3 sentences dramatically?
Yes, please.
You may.
Okay, Harper and Merritt nod. They all squeeze hands. They have to go in now, because what else? I have read of women who have been strongly, grandly brave, Harper says as they turn toward the doors. Sometimes I have dreamed that I might be brave, Merritt says. The possibilities of this life are magnificent, Audrey says. Footnote, March 15th entry, I await the devil's coming. But then you already knew that, didn't you, readers? I love that. That's such it brings it all back together.
It's good. I did like the book. I think I'm with Naomi in 4 stars. I
think I'm also going to be a 4-star on this.
You're going to do 4 or 5?
I think I'm also going to do a 4.
Yeah. It was really
there were pacing issues for me sometimes. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like a favorite book of all time.
I like it.
Right. It was just a good book.
It was really good.
And
she over-explained descriptions about what people were doing, and it irked me. Like she'd go really in. This is just a very specific thing to bother you, but like she would be trying to describe like what somebody was doing, and it felt like it went on too long. And I would be like, okay, like I get it. The person is just, you know, whatever, they're doing something that makes them seem anxious. Like I got it. Like we didn't need the rest of the sentence,
right?
But that's just a particular thing that bothered me. Do we want to talk about like the whole bad heroine thing and just, well, you don't need to do the whole weird question from the reading group, but
I don't know if anyone's truly evil.
Yeah.
I
think the men know
Adelaide.
really evil.
I mean, Adelaide did leave
Adelaide
Libby to like drown in seaweed and die.
That's true.
For me, my interpretation of bad heroine is more like badass. Like you're bad, like you're cool, like you're like bad isn't good, like you're just, I think of it in like a positive way, like you're a badass heroine, like you're just a badass woman.
I thought they were more like, I like that idea. I think they were more like, when I was reading, I was thinking more like real people, not whatever the cookie cutter standard you're supposed to be going to, but like what an actual person is like.
Yeah. Lacey gave it 5 because it stuck with her.
If Lacey
I'm gonna
gives
have to
a
do
5,
the cop file for this one.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Sure.
I only use that when I'm not sure on a rating and I want to make sure that I'm like being accurate.
It's definitely the imaginary friend category where you just keep thinking about it, and like I felt sort of the same way where I didn't really truly understand the ending, and but I keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, and then it's just, you can't get rid of it. Like, so it's got to be a good book if I can't stop thinking about it, right?
I also just had another idea. So like heroines are like heroes, like they save the day, but they're bad at saving the day because they don't know what they're doing. So they're just bad at like doing like the hero-y acts. They do kind of like, they do what they want. Because I think if you think of like a traditional heroine, like they go by the rules, they save the day or whatever. But like they're bad heroines because they do what they want. They do what they want. They do what they want to do. They do it when they want to do it.
I think my favorite thing is your interpretation as bad as good, because I think it's definitely like a generational thing that's happened. Like we all know that bad is used that way now, but it's like a fairly recent thing, like being a bad bitch or whatever. But and so that didn't even
Or being
occur
like
to
a
me
baddie.
to interpret it that way until you said it. But I'm like, I love that.
Makes me think of like baddies, like
Insta
bad
baddie.
bitches, insta baddie.
Oh, I am so old. That is not what I was thinking. Okay, I'm not even.
I didn't think about that until she said that.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but like I was going back in the 70s, like, you know, blaxploitation. Yeah, he's a bad mamma jamma. I went there in my own mind, but okay, I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay, moving on, people. Moving on.
I just like the use of bad mamma jamma. Like that I did not think that phrase would come up in this.
Naomi has the best words. My favorite from her to this day is shenaniganery.
Shenaniganery and tomfoolery.
I love that. Shenaniganery.
Yeah.
Tomfoolery is an ancient classic, but shenaniganery, that's a Naomiism right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hemi, can you sit down,
I'm
please?
just so glad I became friends with y'all.
Yes.
It was like the most random
happy
thing that I
you
ended up
joined.
being in like this friend group, but I'm here for it.
We're weird people, but we're good people.
I'm also weird, so I think that's
Weird
why
and
I
good,
fit.
that's right.
Join
That's the
because we
click,
don't
right?
Mm-hmm.
we don't have any like gay people in the book club. We're all straight.
Straight.
Wow.
Boringly straight.
I was trying to.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I
so
don't
it
know
was really
which
nice
way
to
it's
have
all
your point of
backwards.
view.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how to ask you, Landis, without sounding like I was somehow like queer adopting you and being like, I need you for representation.
Honestly, it's fine. I am so hard to like. I always want to be involved in shit.
I was like,
I feel that.
I feel like it's hard to talk about. Like, I think like I can appreciate things that are not about my story, but I don't feel like I can talk fully about them because there's going to be pieces I'm always missing because it's not my story. There's going to be a takeaway that I'm not going to get because it's not my story.
Right.
Yeah. Because I feel the same. Like I think earlier I might have sounded rude when I said like I primarily read queer books. My context for that is that I didn't read books for like 8 years when I was like off of ADHD medicine and I couldn't. And I missed all these awesome queer books. And my whole life, all that I ever had growing up and as a teenager were like YA fantasy books. Mm-hmm. And some of them are fun. But like at this point in my life, I am prioritizing all of the like queer books that I never got. Well, and so like I refuse to feel bad about it. But I can't always like, I know what you mean because I'll be like, I read a lot of books that I'm an Own Voices reviewer for like the lesbian aspect, but they'll be like by people of color. And I'm like, so where's the balance here in this being Own Voices for me? Because this thing I can speak to, this other aspect I can't. Yeah. So that's my thing that always throws me off because I'm like, can I request this book and say I'm Own Voices if I only have like this half? Am I?
Right.
So I absolutely know what you mean, Alyssa. I get that all the time. Like I'm reading Honey Girl right now and I am Own Voices lesbian representation, but it's by a Black author. And so I'm like, I got to think about how to approach it and not miss aspects of it that are important to talk about in a review.
There's another layer to the story that's not
Yeah. And I had something similar because this summer I worked with the LGBTQ plus community center in my town for an internship and I put together like a rep book list for them. And so I was like asking all my friends who are in the community, I'm like, tell me if this is good rep. Tell me if this is like, because I don't want to put on books because like I can't say if it's good rep because I am I am cis, I am heterosexual. Like I need help. Like for you to tell me.
That soundbite, interesting soundbite, by the way.
Like I needed help because I don't know like how, because I know there's like books with like shitty rep and I didn't want to include those, so it was a lot of like outreach to make sure that I got the books that like people actually like appreciated.
But I like that there's so much more now because like you don't really notice when everything's about you when you're living in it because you need to get out of it, like because you don't see it, like it's just there, it's ubiquitous, like it's life. But you know, now that more the literature has changed so much, especially YA literature, from when I was, you know, a YA aged reader. those stories didn't exist. Those storylines really weren't out there. They were probably somewhere, but you couldn't find them in the same way that you can find them now. And it's fantastic that they're there, because I remember going through things with my friends and watching them deal with their sexuality. And like, wouldn't it have been amazing to be able to be like, here, like, even for me to read something then to understand them better, and for them to read something that made them understand themselves better.
I am so excited that like the next generation has all of these books to see themselves in. Sorry, the parakeet decided it's mad at me.
Hello.
But anyway, I was actually saying something to my friend the other day where I was like, I found out that this sapphic YA book, The Dark Wife, which is a like sapphic Hades and Persephone retelling that was like an indie book. Big trigger warning for like rape at the beginning. Just if anyone reads it. Just like 2 paragraphs, but it's important to the story, but it's heavy. Just no going in. But I found out it came out in 2011, and that's the year that I graduated high school. And that's about when I stopped reading. And so I asked my friend who's an author, SD Semper, I said, like, I wonder if I like wouldn't have gone through that gap of not reading if I had found like that book and books like it in 2011 where I could like see myself in like fantasy. Because I thought the only like lesbian or sapphic books were just like romance novels. And at the time I had no interest in that. I read some now. It's not my favorite. And she goes, well, there weren't that many that existed. She was like, you would have had that and then like Melinda Lowe, and then you would have been completely out of like books to read then. So like now there are so many options. I don't think I'm ever going to catch up on all the like badass speculative, like, speculative, even if I just narrow it down to sci-fi fantasy. I don't think I'll ever catch up on like the 8 to 10 years of that I missed, because it was like a snowball that's gained ground. And I'm so excited that I have that many options.
Exactly.
And I got this year I got it in a book tour, and I'm so glad they selected me for it. And I think Stephanie has it now too. It's Flamer, and it's basically set in a Boy Scout camp, about in like my sort of generational age gap, because I think the author's about my age, maybe a little younger. And so like all the language that these boys are throwing at each other is stuff that I'm used to hearing, you know, about being like a Nancy boy and like stop being an F word and all this other stuff. And how sort of it was thrown around like nobody cared, and how much it's changed since then. And like watching this little boy go through this graphic novel and figure out himself, like this, like it made me so happy, because it's making me remember things that happened when I was younger and how much good that could have done when I was like 14 and there were kids getting beaten up at school because they had, you know, a different whatever. And it like, to see it just makes me happy, because it needs to exist.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell y'all my high school nickname before I even came out, but when everyone knew I was a lesbian, and it was started by my boss at the time, like an adult. So it was even more fucked up, but they all just called me Landike.
Oh,
which was like, oh, this is fun and cool and awesome. And so then I just reclaimed it. And for a long time, I just identified solely as a dyke instead of even saying lesbian, because it was like, if I say it first, you can't use it to hurt me.
Yeah. No, that's the coping stuff that we do. That's not actually healthy.
It's reclamation. It's the same way queer used to be a slur and it's been reclaimed. But like, that's a fun thing that like happened in high school that hopefully doesn't happen quite as much now to like people growing up.
Yeah. Wow. Kids are assholes.
Well, I think we are assholes, which is why we need, adults are assholes too. We just usually know a little bit better about keeping our mouths shut than most people, not our president. But, he like they need something that tells them that it's wrong, and also then explains other things so they understand why and how to do.
Absolutely.
I love that that's coming out. It just makes me
coming
happy.
Out, pun intended.
Coming out.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
And like going back to Plain Bad Heroines, I think.
Oh yeah, that's what we're here for.
Whoops,
that thing.
No, you're good. I just tying it to that is just kind of like I like how it's just becoming casual. in books to just have gay
That is my favorite.
characters.
Casually queer rep in books is my favorite thing.
Like,
Give me sci-fi fantasy about that.
Like, I don't know if you've read it, Landis, because I know a bunch of us got it back. It was where is it? Which shelf is it on?
Where are you going?
It's I'm trying to see if I can find it. Ugh.
I love
by Marco
story-led.
Story-led.
It's like Marco Shiro, each of us a desert.
Oh,
that has really casual.
I own it. I have not read it yet. I was gifted that by Tortine.
It was definitely, I requested it, and I was definitely not expecting to love it because I'm not a magical realism gal. Like, it's just not my thing. But I ended up loving it, and the queer rep in it, it was just so, it was just there. It was just there, and it was casual, and it was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the main, it wasn't like a big deal to be gay. You were just gay, or like the character was just gay, and they're cool.
And then they go about the rest of their lives. It's like, yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's how it not how it's important for it to be if we compare it to Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, where it's the story surrounding him being gay, but I also like how it's now becoming just a casual thing to have, just as you would just have all that person straight.
I think that happens a lot, and I think in YA it's either casual or it's a coming of age story where it's about that. What I found in adult fiction is a lot of times, especially in sci-fi or fantasy things, I love when they act it's called queer norm, queer norm universes or things. I love stories that are all about when people are gay, because that's true. How I on a daily basis talk to people about how gay I am. People are it's not realistic that they're always saying that they're gay or saying I'm too gay for this. And I'm you apparently have never met an extra a super extra gay person like me.
You don't have gay friends.
But I also love when it's just there and we go on with the story, because I used to only be able to find books that the gay part was the romance. And sometimes I don't want there to be a major romance thing. I want it to be a story plot driven thing that just happens to have a lesbian main character. And maybe she has a girlfriend and maybe she doesn't, but she's just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Person things
that makes me
all the time that you don't want every Black story to be about police brutality or
a trauma,
or all of that stuff. Sometimes you just want to have a story that just has a main character who's whatever, and they're doing whatever, and that's all you need. You don't need to make a statement every time. Just having the story makes a statement. Making it a normal thing to have in society makes a statement.
Right.
And I know that you guys didn't like the book, but To Sleep in the Sea of Stars with Hua Chung and Sparrow. Okay, Aaliyah and Naomi weren't fans.
Well,
so I forgot. I'm sorry.
The only reason why y'all read it is because I liked the book. Now
I haven't read it. So.
The actual friend that made you read a book you didn't like.
It was okay, but it's
don't read it. You'll probably hate it, Landis.
No, read it. It's good. It's just lengthy. It gives me the same vibe as The Host by Stephanie Meyer, where you could have gotten your point across with just a few thousands less of words.
I loved The Host. I read it when it first came out.
I couldn't get into it. I really like sci-fi.
I 100% prefer it over Twilight.
I loved The Host. I read that when it first came out, and then the movie came out, and I was very angry at what they did.
They
were just all wrong.
Oh, I like the movie, but I also like Saoirse Ronan.
So bad.
I don't know who that is, and I didn't know.
She was in the Little Women movie. She was Jo.
Oh, that lady. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read The Host. And I think I gave up on the Twilight series halfway through whatever the last one was. When Jacob imprinted on the infant, I was okay, fuck this shit, I'm done. Fuck this shit, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore.
That didn't I forgot that even really happened until recently, when it started coming back up in book Twitter and book whatever TikToks and stuff, and people were talking about it. I think I think the story lost the plot when they were eating babies out of her belly and stuff, and turning into a vampire at the same time. And
oh my god, I didn't even remember that until you just said that.
Anything
because
else
I read it when it came out. I was in high school when I read these. I was like a freshman in high school when I read like the first several books.
I had a friend force me to read them my junior year of high school, so that would have been 2016, 2017. And she read them, and she had a really late Twilight phase, and she wanted me to read them, watch the movies with her, and I read them, and I'm like, okay, they're fine. And then she tried to make me watch a movie in like 20 minutes, and I'm like, Lauren, please turn this shit off. I can't watch it. Can we just watch like Hairspray or something? Like any of her other DVDs
Give
that I
me
knew she
all
had.
the movies. You know how I love that. I never read the books. My daughters read them, and we saw the movies together. But like, I love those cheesy movies. They are the best. Although,
I just felt
how come no one ever talks about the fact that Edward is an old ass man creeping on a young ass girl?
No one ever talks about that in like YA fantasy. People want to talk about if you're a 20-year-old dating a 17-year-old, you must be a pedophile. No one wants to talk about the 1,000-year-old vampires and elf queens.
It's fine. It's fine when you're a vampire. You can be a million years old and you can date a 12-year-old and it's fine.
It's
There's
just
nothing
like
wrong with that.
gross.
See, that also makes me think of like the Vampire Diaries. Like, if anybody's ever watched those, Stefan and Damon Guerin, they were from the Civil War. Like, they fought in the Civil War. Don't know what side they fought for. Can't remember. But, which could be bad. But, or at least in the show they did. And they started both dating Elena when she's like a junior, senior in high school.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think she gets out of high school during the series because it's like a million seasons long. So, like, it gets less bad, but it's also like, I always think about that, but I'm also like, like they're permanently stuck at like a younger age, but like it's also, I don't know, it's weird.
They're not like mentally stuck at that age.
I know that's the thing. But also, are we just gonna say that the only people they can ever be with for the rest of their life is other vampires? I just think just wait till they're out of high school at least.
Are you hearing this?
Like wait till you're like 19 or 20, but don't date a high schooler.
We're hurting Lacey.
I don't even know why I'm hurting Lacey, but I'm sorry.
Vampires.
Because we're slandering Twilight. We're not slandering Twilight. We're just slandering
Lacey
having a 900-year-old vampire dating a 12-year-old.
I mean, I just watched New Moon yesterday. So, I mean, I watch the movies all the time. I love them.
I can live without Twilight, but I mean, I can accept it did a lot.
I love Twilight. I have nothing wrong with Twilight. Give me all the vampires. But like the opposite of the whole like old man thing is the interview with a vampire thing with what's her name, the little girl who gets turned and she's forever like 12 years old, but mentally she's
right.
You know, has
I've never
exactly.
seen.
And so there's a whole thing with her.
Wait,
and like
Alyssa, hang on. Did Emma just say she hasn't seen that movie?
No.
What movie?
Okay, homework assignment.
We need to give her a list of things she needs to watch.
But like
This
the
is
same thing happened.
unacceptable.
The same thing happened in a Cassie Clare book. Her name was Maureen. She got turned into a vampire by who was it? Oh, she got turned into a vampire by someone. She was like 14 years old and she was crushing on Simon.
Is that one of the? Because all I've ever heard about Cassie Clare is that she just plagiarizes all these things in her things. So I'm wondering if that's one of those instances.
The plagiarism thing was on a other book series, which I don't think ever went through. Because I remember it being talked about, but I don't think it ever went through. And I don't know if they had enough like.
But do watch Interview with a Vampire. They're right. I only watched it for the first time last year. Full disclosure. Because I had not seen it yet, but I did.
We have
It's
homework.
Homework.
Sorry, Steph, you're getting homework.
Alyssa missed her calling to be a teacher so that she could assign homework.
Alyssa and Stephanie need to switch professions.
No, Stephanie is an angel. I could not do it.
You know the kid who leaves the papers around his desk that Stephanie has? You'd probably punch him out on the first day.
I would call his parents and I would probably punch them before I punch the child. Then I might punch the child later. I don't know. It depends on what the kid does. But
I would love to see like Stephanie
funny.
trying to be a nurse though.
Stephanie being a nurse. Stephanie might be a great nurse. I wouldn't do it right now.
Oh God, I'd be a terrible nurse. I'd be terrible at anything dealing with things in the hospital. That'd be awful.
I'm too squeamish to be a nurse.
My mom had me take she was cooking duck last week and it was like sitting in the fridge because she was drying it out or whatever the hell she does with it. And she's like, "Can you take it out and put it on the counter?" And I was like gagging as I grabbed the tray. I was like, "Oh," and I was like, raw meat grosses me out so bad. So like I can't imagine being in a hospital having to see old people like naked and like no.
I've seen all the scrotums. It is what it is.
Without prodrome, she has an incest quirk. I love how you call it a quirk.
Like we make it sweet. It's a quirk. It's just a little quirk.
Right.
Because I thought it was a kink. And also, I don't always hate age gaps. For the record, with her saying the age gap isn't the problem, I think I only care about them when they're creepy stalkers like that, because then it puts the massive age gap in full relief.
The only age gap I've ever really had an issue with was when I, like, for some reason, tortured myself in listening to the audiobook of Call Me By Your Name.
Oh, I remember you listening to that, and I did not feel the need to.
I wanted to throw up like 4 times.
I haven't read that one.
Girly,
I should note that I'm like also the resident age gap enthusiast when it comes to lesbians. Like, I am 27 and my girlfriend is 57, and we've been together 6 years.
But you're adults, so I think the difference is when, like,
even I don't like age gaps in times. Like, there's probably something wrong with them, because that's been my jam since I was like young. All of my ships were like age gap ships.
In Call Me By Your Name, he's like 17, and this guy's in like his older 30s. And the only reason it was like grossing me out, kind of felt like this guy was like grooming him,
because he probably
was in a way. And it felt groomy, and I didn't like it. And then there's also a thing with a peach that grossed me out.
Have you done My Dark Vanessa yet? Because
no,
I can grab my copy of My Dark Vanessa, and you can see just how many flags I have that just say like gross, what the fuck, ew, oh my god. That book that's another book. That's like one of my top books of the year though, because that book was
read Excavation by Wendy Ortiz.
I read that one too.
We have it.
I read that one just because I haven't finished My Dark Vanessa, but it was supposed to be inspired by that, and it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I read it, and it was phenomenal.
It's really
good. I bought the paperback. I haven't read it yet, though. We bought it at the same time, didn't we? Because who told us about that book, Alyssa?
I can't remember, but there was some book Twitter drama about somebody trying to put that, like, maybe My Dark Vanessa like stole from this.
It might have been the actual author of Excavation who was doing it, because it became a thing on how like it was her story, like as like a queer woman of color, and how this like white woman who didn't live through it was going to profit off of like, but I don't know that I necessarily 100% agreed, because those kind of stories exist. Like it wasn't like some totally original idea.
Right.
Like there have been since Lolita stories like that.
They have they come at things from very different perspectives. The memoir is a memoir. It's a very personal story about her experience. And then My Dark Vanessa is like an exploration of this thing that happens in society. And I listened to an interview with the author, and she's been working on this since like the 90s, which explains all the Fiona Appa in the story. So it's not a story it's a story that she's been picking up. Do you know who Fiona Appa is?
Don't say you don't know who that is. Emma.
Okay.
I don't know how to take this live show.
I was born in the second to last month of the 90s.
Fiona Apple just came out with an album like earlier this year. That's no excuse.
But that first one will just always be
classic. This is just for Emma homework.
I'm Googling her right now. Okay.
That voice.
Any music on here so we get in trouble. That's all I say.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she got a Grammy.
She got a Grammy, she says to me.
Listen to her debut album, and you just.
And would there be songs I would know?
Yes,
I don't know what you listen to because
You
I'm
would know.
questioning your music
She would
taste.
probably know Paper Bag because it's in Bridesmaids.
yes, Lacey. That book is so good.
I think I should stop talking because I've never seen
Ooh,
Bridesmaids.
it's not my book of the year,
So
but it was
uncomfortable.
good. It was good and it really messed me up, but it's not my book of the year.
I don't know how I'm going to pick my book of the year because I just started reading voraciously again this year. I read like 25 books last year and 83 this year. And most of my favorite books I've read for the first time this year, even if they didn't come out this year. So I'm like, I'm not going to be able to pick a favorite.
I'm never going to pick a book favorite of the year. It's impossible for me to do that. I don't know how people just pick one. I have at least 20 that I will never, ever stop thinking about. At least.
Yeah, it's like, what books did I not stop thinking about this year? And then those are it. Like I think I did all of Never a Night this year. Gideon the Ninth was really good. Tarot.
I need to read that so bad.
Yes.
It's really...
Do you guys ever have a book you think you know you're going to think about for a long time, but you haven't read it yet?
Yes. Addie LaRue.
This book I haven't read yet, but I feel like I'm going to think about it so much.
That book
I want to read that.
Liked. I also wanted it to be longer because I wanted.
Yeah, that looks.
Like I say,
hold that up again.
I really like a short book. I want to live in it more.
Hold it like. Oh
it's
wow.
tiny, and I
it's
wanted
in California,
to live in it more.
Naomi. It's set in North California.
I've seen that book.
It's like ghosty and spooky.
It's kind of magical realism-y in the sense.
I think it's gay too.
I think it is gay, if I remember correctly.
Nina LaCroix writes gay books,
and I think it's about grief. I'm trying to remember.
Like in foster care or something.
Yeah,
it's like that. She's got to get over something. I think she's got to get over parents' death.
I'm usually, because I'm still like not sure if I'm good to read like dead parent stories where that's like a main focus.
If you're not ready, don't read it.
I don't know, but like because I was talking with Taylor about this because I read The Great Alone and there is a parental death and cancer in the book. So immediately after I finished, I had tears and I texted her, I'm like, don't read this book. Because she and I were talking because since she has dead mom, I have dead dad. We were like, books always have dead parents. And we need books without dead parents.
It's a really easy way to make tension, I think, is to give your character that kind of trauma.
Dead parents.
Relatable. No, it's really relatable. All of our parents, for most of us, our parents are going to pass before us, we hope, because that's, no parent should ever have to go through the death of their child. So it's a really easy way to make characters have trauma, interest, like drama, all that stuff. But it's hard because it's so relatable that lots of people have it happening in their lives, and maybe you're not ready to think about
and especially like this year.
Yeah.
Oh my God, y'all, we've been on here for an hour and a half.
We've been on here for almost an hour and 40.
We're doing
this is the live show that we took a left turn and went to giving Emma homework assignments.
Well, again, all in all, loved it. 4 stars. I highly recommend reading it to anyone who has not.
4.5. It might be 5. I'm a co-pilot.
I think it needs to go through co-pilot. I think I did that with Imaginary Friend. Did I do that with Imaginary Friend? I don't know. It keeps going up. It's one of those books. I feel like it's in there too. It just, every time you keep thinking about it, you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize that part.
I'm just glad y'all chose this for the book because I'm so bad at accountability. I was going to buddy read this with one of my friends who usually we have like 98% the same taste in books, but they DNF this. They're not a big dark academia fan. They might come back to it one day, but that's who I was supposed to buddy read it with. And I needed some accountability to actually read it because it's big and mood reader. And so I read half of this yesterday. Like I listened to the audiobook while I did Instagram stuff and all that. And it's just like, I owe y'all for me finally reading The Starless Sea, which I probably never would have picked up if not for buddy reads with y'all.
I love that book so much.
I still need to read that.
Thanks for being my accountability buddies.
We're good at that. We're going to do the Poppy War. It's going to be filled with
Are you going to read the Poppy War with us?
I own that too, so.
Are you going to read it with us?
I will try.
There's going to be a lot of trigger warnings. That's all I know.
That's all I know too. And like the thing is, I feel like next month's gonna be really good because Aaliyah and I won't have school, and hopefully,
I still will.
No. Oh, what are you?
I get 2 weeks off from December 20th to January 3rd because we do 3 terms a year.
Oh,
So my
you're on
term doesn't even end till
trimesters.
end of January.
There's
Oh,
a
okay.
screaming child. I found
Sorry.
him. I found
You're
him.
good.
Okay.
What are you in school for? I didn't know you were like
Marketing and graphic design.
Very nice.
bougie.
It's not that bougie, I promise.
That's good.
But
It sounds bougie. I can't do techie things.
Why not? You're the only one who's you and well, you figure out how to get on the live stream.
Yeah.
See, techie things.
About all of
That's
them.
all yourself, sir. Anyway, so do we have any lasting thoughts? Because like the 2-hour live stream that was supposed to be an hour.
Can you choose a short book for January, please, from Miss
Stephanie, what do you
Stephanie.
consider short? And I'm all for short books.
Do we want to save the short gay for January? We could add that to our
We
possibility
can do that
list.
because I would like to read that because I did listen to it while I was working, and it was there's definitely things I'm not remembering.
I'd be down for that one.
Oh, well, we don't even know what else is coming out in January. That's going to be
Oh.
a big month.
Now he's like,
Well,
wait,
we'll look for small page counts,
Oh.
Stephanie.
we'll do
I'm
that.
sorry, my nephew's been
Any
so good this
promises?
whole time, and now he's
It's
like
fine.
screaming no
He
and
wants
making siren
attention.
noises.
It's fine.
I thought it was a real siren. He was doing a good siren noise.
He's doing a good job. Alatsaway did show up, Landis. So I got my book. It showed up last night, and it is gorgeous.
Yay.
And I finished listening to it last night too. So it's
Oh, I want to read
Lacey's
that.
copy of Fable came in this week too, so you both got them.
300 pages or less. We think we could figure that out.
Perhaps. I make no promises, Stephanie. I'm so sorry.
Naomi likes really big books. So
I do.
Naomi does love chunky books.
So
I'm okay with
Yeah,
either.
you'll always be in our ARC chat and be like, and this is pretty short, and it'll be like 350 pages, and I'm like,
This one is 261.
Naomi.
So
Remember, it's like I only read this 600-page book. It's not bad. I read it in the hour. It's fine.
That's funny.
I'm a pretty fast reader, but even to me, like 350 is like moderate. It's not long, but it's not short.
What month did we do the chunky book month?
that was like July, and that was my idea, and I totally failed it.
What was our page count? Over 450?
450 to 500. I think was like the big range where we considered chunky. I don't even think I read a single chunky. What happened in July?
I don't know.
No, well, this one
That
is
was fun, though.
619 in paperback.
But
so.
I hate
You
big
can
books, but
participate.
I
We'll
want to
find a little book
participate.
for you.
Get the audiobook of the Proppy War.
Oh, Alyssa, I guess we should let people know, because we did discuss this, that we will be picking like one main book.
Yes.
And then we're also going to be choosing a bonus book. So if you're feeling, fancy and, you want to tackle
Basically,
another
Naomi
book,
and I want excuses to read more books.
that's what we
In
want.
December or January?
Every month, we're going to have a bonus book. But
Yeah.
we were thinking like some sort of little mystery thing or just like a lighter kind of book.
Right.
So
So we
like-
need to pick one for December.
Well,
We have our main
what was
books,
the
folks.
Telegraph Club one? Wasn't
This
there
is
the
December.
Telegraph? There was
Which one?
There was some book you mentioned. It was like the Telegraph, something happening at the Telegraph Club or something like that.
Last
it's
night
not
at the
the Melinda
Telegraph
Lowe?
Club.
Maybe.
Is that the new Melinda
I'm
Lowe?
not sure, but I want to read it so
Let's
badly.
find out. Last night at the Telegraph Club. Let's see who makes. I don't know. I had it. Yes, Melinda Lowe.
That's also gay. I'm here
What's the
for it. Let's
release
do
date
it.
on that? Is that January?
That's also lesbian historical fiction or sapphic historical fiction. So
January
I'm sure.
19th. So we can do that in January.
Yeah.
So then what do we want to do in
For
December?
December as a second book.
Is our bonus book. You get no points other than brownie points and feeling satisfied. We could do Watch Over Me as our bonus book, as Emma is so clearly waving it at us.
That's true.
It's
already
short.
I gotta order it then. I've been
Me
trying.
too.
My friend bought me. What's the author's name? Bought me Nina LaCour's other book,
We
like
are
off
okay.
my wish list, and I've been waiting to buy Watch Over Me until I read that book. But I will make an exception and just go ahead and order it.
That's why I'm getting Slim Pickings Jane, because I need to read, but I was waiting for an excuse to buy this too, just because it's so pretty, and I've never read a Nina. I didn't like the cover for We Are Okay, but I love this cover because I'm a
Oh, you know what? I've read that. I read We're Okay. So just kidding. I
Yeah.
have read one of her books.
Yeah. So
Everything Leads to You is the one that my friend bought me by her.
I don't know if I've seen that one, but I was like, this looks really pretty, and I'm a whore for pretty covers. So
It is a really beautiful book.
I'm with you. As a graphic designer, I am incapable of not judging a book by its cover.
my mom's like, aren't you like not supposed to do that? And I'm like, so
No, you can. It's fine. You might actually like that book, Emma. I know it does deal with dead parents, but the book is about like dealing with that and working through your grief and finding sort of your way after that. So it might be cathartic in a way, or it might not.
I'm like, I'm okay with that. Like for me, it was more for Taylor when I brought up dead parents in books, because that's why she hasn't been like reading as much. And I'm like, girl, I feel that. So I've been trying to find books without dead parents for her.
I mean, every fairy tale basically starts with like dead parents.
Yeah. I have We Are Okay, but haven't read it yet. We'll get the other one, Stephanie.
This is why I think it's important sometimes for like reviewers to do content warnings on like blog reviews, especially. I do them if there are any heavy ones for my Instagram reviews, but actually I've seen them in a few books, like at the beginning. Like I got an arc for A Curse of Roses, and at the beginning of the arc, it listed like the potential trigger warnings just on a page. And it wasn't in depth enough to be spoilery, but it was enough to give you like a heads up on stuff. And I'm hoping that becomes more of the norm for books, because a lot of people can handle the content as long as they know it's coming.
I think the first time I ever saw that was on Kate's book date. Her Anti-Virginity Pact book has like a page where they just look at Emma's face coming up, all confused. Just coming up with all of the trigger warnings, and it was just, it's perfect, like right there in the front, just to tell you.
I think, yeah.
Is this the book, Landis?
Yes. I'm supposed to be getting an arc of that, and it hasn't arrived.
My friend Octavia at what's her username? The book Mermaid. She just got it as like a thingy that'll land.
I'm gonna book tour for that in like next week, but I really enjoyed it.
I'm supposed to get that book. Entangled is supposed to send me like a stack of books. I haven't gotten them, so whatever comes. And I'm not going to be a bitch about it.
Okay.
You're sending me free books. Whatever arrives.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who cares?
I'm still just like, people send me these for free. What did I do? Like,
I was talking to one of my coworkers about books. And we were talking about, we keep the dead close. She was asking me if I was reading anything. I was like, I've been reading this nonfiction, yada yada yada. I was like, the publisher sent it to me, but I just said it. So like, it's so like we talk about things so casually like this. So it's just, she's like, wait, what do you mean a publisher sent you a book? And I was like, oh right,
I did that on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
you're so right, because I mean, we all know how this thing works, and we talk every day, and it's like it seems like normal to us. And I did that on Thanksgiving. They were like, "What do you mean?" The publisher? What do you mean? And I was like,
let me backtrack and explain to you.
Right, I had like, let me get back 101. Yeah.
And I just have to tell people that I'm basically a book influencer, because that's a language they understand.
That's true too. Yeah.
Like I'm an influencer for gay books.
Oh yeah,
before we get off of this,
keep us on track.
I'm taking us off track, honey.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Because I read this book that I bought over the summer that I pre-ordered, because I just had to have it and read it when it came out, and I just read it last week. But y'all got to read this. So it's this family that had 12 kids, 10 boys, 2 girls. 6 out of the 10 boys all had schizophrenia. This is one of the most tragic stories I have ever read. And I just want to say, read it. I could not stop reading this book. It was blowing my mind. This was like going on in the 70s. So like it's also taking you down the route of how mental illness was handled in the 70s and how basically and how everything was blamed on the mother. I just wanted to say,
It is
Read it.
always our fault. Have you learned that? We have the uterus. It's our fault.
Read it.
Everything is our fault.
Yeah. So
We could do The Curse of Roses. It's the December bonus book.
Is
And
it-
then I'll know I at least read one.
is it YA? What is it?
It is YA.
Naomi, stop hating Rye.
It is a retelling of a
This is already
Portuguese
YA.
myth. No, it's not, is it?
No, it's not. That's adult.
It's adult,
Well, she's 15.
Who?
but it's
I'm
adult.
not looking
No,
at
You
you.
can write
Character
adult
name is
books
15,
that
that's
have a
adult
YA
fiction.
age
Is
protagonist.
it adult? I mean,
It's
I already
adult.
read this book.
It's
It is
not
okay,
in YA
fine.
fantasy. It's in adult fantasy when you go to the bookstore.
Oh, okay.
There's
All
too
right.
much rape. It's an adult book.
Okay.
There's too much what?
Rape.
I mean, it's a lot of shit that goes on in that book. This is it's a very dark book, which is
Yeah.
probably why I like it so much. The darker, the better for me.
It comes out on Tuesday, so I guess I'm not getting anything.
Oh, you know what, Alyssa? They accidentally sent me 2.
Do I have yours? Do you have mine?
I don't know. I got 2 on the same day. I was gonna do a giveaway for it, but if you like really want it, I can just send it to you.
I would love it. I'll send you media mail.
Okay.
Wait, are we making a decision now? I need to look this up. What are we reading?
Oh, no, we're just deciding that I'm reading this book, and
Oh,
I don't know.
I thought that was the bonus. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
It was a fairly quick read that comes
Love
out
you,
next
Lacey.
month.
Bye.
And it also is something I've already
Hi,
read.
Lacey.
My favorite thing to do for book clubs is books I've read before, because then I know for sure that I'll be able to participate.
Why are you giving me like $18 books to read? Because everything's like $18. Why are books so expensive?
Girl,
This is what I'm trying to figure out in my life.
Capitalism.
Yeah, no, she's right.
Ugh.
It's because nobody reads.
No,
it's illiterate.
It's because they make the ebooks expensive, and then they make the paperbacks or the hardbacks a little more expensive than that, hoping that you will do that instead of the ebook because they make more profit probably.
Also, like, I love how paperback books come out literally everywhere else except for like the US when they're first published. Like in the UK, paperbacks always come out, I think, at like the same time, so you can choose. But here, they only put out hardbacks for like the first year, so you buy the hardback, and then you're stuck having to buy the hardback copies so that they all match.
Yeah,
I prefer hardcovers, but
paper.
I prefer
prefer
paperbacks
hardcovers.
because I'm poor, but that's it.
I just like
I
to
will
use
buy hardcover.
scribd as often as possible.
Do
script
that.
is good.
The bargain section of Books A Million is usually a good friend of mine.
I don't have one of those.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We have half price books. That's everyone's like, go to your local indie, and I'm like, that doesn't count. But like, I have to drive 2 hours to
Barnes
get
and
to an
Noble.
indie.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah, mine is also Barnes and Noble.
Where do you live?
I am in Texas.
Oh, okay.
There's a Books A Million like 45 minutes to an hour away from me, but it's not in a town.
That's like
I go
what
to a
Gabby
lot.
and Sophie said. They are also our resident Texans. But for me, there are no half-price books in Michigan, but there's like 12 in Ohio. And I'm just I hate Ohio so much, so much, and it just adds to the list of reasons why I hate Ohio.
Now all of Ohio hates you.
It's just natural for people in Michigan to hate Ohio, but it just made it worse.
Well, Naomi
The
lives
more
in
you
the
know.
best place for books.
Okay, we're
Naomi
definitely at an hour 53 minutes.
We've been on.
Almost like
We
2
should wrap
hours.
this up as we approach 2 hours. I think is what Landis is saying.
But if y'all want to like shoot the shit on a Zoom call, I'm fine with that.
I need to eat.
I'm starving. This is all I've had is iced coffee.
Oh, yes.
I guess this now is iced coffee.
Energy drink.
Oh, I just.
All
got
right, so get ready for
Plain Bad
December, folks.
Heroines.
Get your copy of The Poppy War. We have
Giveaway.
a private chat, so if
Giveaway.
you want to be added to that,
Giveaway.
let us know.
We also have a giveaway running for the Poppy War paperback version.
Paperback. I have an extra
Yes.
paperback that I don't
So-
require.
Thank
Yeah.
y'all for having me.
Yes, thank you.
It was
joining
a
This was not
us.
pleasure. It was a
planned.
joy.
Thanks for saving the book chat.
Yeah, saving it. I
I
derailed
hope
us
you
as
read The
much as
Poppy
anyone
War
else.
with us.
Yes, read the copy.
But you already own a copy.
I do. A friend sent me one last month. So
Yeah.
I don't have it with me here, but I should be home later this week. I will have it.
That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well.
Right. I'm reading the other thing.
If anyone's made it this far, thanks for listening to us for almost 2 hours.
It's a good chance.
He gave up and bailed.
You probably have given up. I will download this when I can and get it up on.
Will it have to be like 2 parts? How long do Instagram lives, or not lives, but the
IGTV?
Yeah.
Oh, it goes up to an hour, doesn't it? If you upload it on the web.
So you have to do like 2 parts. Okay, somebody add Stephanie because she just got the audio, although she thinks she's gonna hate it.
Oh, what, of the Poppy War? You think you're gonna hate it? You hate action? It's not just action, right? I don't know.
I mean, like the thing too.
I like a badass lady killing people. It's just.
I'm with you.
That's my thing.
Right. I'm moving.
Morally gray female characters, or even like evil villainous female characters.
I'm just remembering that Mia.
Wait, while I'm here, everyone read Beyond the Ruby Veil. I have to shout out my favorite release of this year.
I still have to read that. I'll do it in December.
I am obsessed with it. It has the most unlikable female character. She gets kind of what's coming to her. I'm absolutely obsessed with it.
You have to do Nevernight because I keep forgetting that Mia's like bisexual, but more like lady love than man love.
I was super excited for it, and then I watched Reads with Cindy's video about Nevernight, and now I don't think I can take it seriously.
I don't like her.
Everything.
I love her so much.
I like her angry. As long as she's not hate reading something, I like her. I don't like her reviews unless I agree with her. Then it's fun. But when it's like I don't agree with her, she hurts me.
The Nevernight Chronicles was really good. I enjoyed every book.
And Jay Kristoff will break your heart like at every turn, and he like can rip your heart out and stomp on it, and I like love it.
And I just kept asking him for more.
I do plan to try it.
Try it.
I also we'll see.
But you got to keep going because like Dark Dawn will break your heart, but also is like.
It's so funny. Nevermind has been on my Amazon wish list since I created it, and it's never the book anyone picks for me when they buy me book gifts, even though I know it's popular. It's been on there more than anything else.
I'm glad I read it.
We're gonna have to fix that.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Is it on audio? Okay, we're at.
It is on audiobook. And it's really good on audio because the footnotes flow really nicely.
You should listen to the audiobook and read along. Just like with the Illuminate files, listening to the audiobook and read along, I think you get a better experience.
Okay. We shall see.
That's my personal opinion.
But anyway.
All right.
Let's wrap this
up. All right,
up.
guys. It's been real.
Thank you for being here.
See you next month.
See you later. Let me end this. Bye.
Bye, guys.